New York to Paris on October 26, 1958. It took 8 hours and 41 minutes, a journey made possible by the power of the jet, the culmination of a decades-long obsession to make the world a smaller place. In 1919, two British aviators, John Aylock and Arthur Brown, made the first non-stop transatlantic flight. They flew from Newfoundland to Ireland in just under 72 hours. 8 years later, Charles Lindbergh captured worldwide fame when he flew solo from New York City to Paris, a non-stop flight that more than halved Aylock and Brown's time, 33 and a half hours. Aviation was rapidly progressing, and by 1939, Pan American Airlines had christened its first transatlantic passenger service.
The 27-ton Yankee Clipper leaves America on the first transatlantic flight this year. Before long, transatlantic air travel will become a matter of accepted routine.
But unlike the flights of Aylock, Brown, and Lindbergh, passenger flights across the Atlantic required several stops. A trip along the southern route took 3, between Southampton and Port Washington, New York. There were stops in Ireland, Newfoundland, and Shediac. Total travel time, a little under 18 hours. This was the era of the Yankee Clipper, heavy seaplanes lumbering from one continent to another. But in an industry determined to outdo itself, it was an era destined to be short-lived.
The Lockheed Constellation, world's largest land-based transport plane, prepares to make its first public flight, a non-stop hop 2,600 miles across the United States. Landing at Washington Airport 6 hours and 58 minutes after the takeoff, the ship sets a new speed record.
Following World War II, the demand for commercial air travel was expanding rapidly, and along with it, planes that could travel faster and longer. Propeller-driven airliners, like the Constellation, would prove to be a valuable advance, but it was the jet engine that would revolutionize. The Germans began experimenting with the jet engine as early as the 1930s. The first jet-powered fighter debuted during World War II. And in 1949, the British tested the first commercial jet airliner, the Comet.
Britain's aircraft industry may have a winner in the Comet. I quote the sober view of aviation critics. The de Havilland Company have produced this 4-engine jet airliner, the first in the world, largely from experiments carried out on the little 108.
Throughout the 1950s, the Comet would struggle to provide reliable service. Meanwhile, Boeing was hard at work on what would become known as the 707, a long-range jet airliner. Pan American Airlines was the 707's first customer and scheduled its first passenger flight for October 26, 1958.
The magnificent new jet, with a wing spread that's bigger than the entire distance of the Wright brothers' first flight.
With 111 passengers and 11 crew members on board, Pan Am 707 left New York's Idlewild International Airport for non-stop service to Paris and carried the world into the jet age.
Paris. Right away you're in the swim of things, because once more you've landed refreshed and with extra hours to do what you want to do in a leisurely way.